Hey everyone, it's 31K Vanta here with a guide on robot archetypes. Just thought I'd hop on and make this video because there's a lot of different robot archetypes and you need to know what kind of robot you're using in this year's game, so it'd be nice to explain them. My name's Shrey and I'll be telling you all about them today. So yeah, let's do it. Um, what is an archetype? In FTC, an archetype is a category of robot design and playstyle. A robot that excels at a specific role instead of trying to do everything. So it's like it has its own like specific purpose. That's basically what that means. So archetypes naturally form because games reward certain actions more than others. Time is limited, and robots have size, weight, and complexity constraints. Archetypes in past games. So last year's game, Into the Deep, you had clip bots, which clip the specimens onto the different colored bars, the ones that correspond to your team, which were designed for fast, consistent clip placers. They weren't flashy, and they won matches because clips, obviously, they were the most points. So yeah. 3 years ago, we had Power Play, which had two dominant roles emerge, which were quick cyclers who scored cones nonstop, and then junction defenders who controlled the field and make sure their team had the junction. And if you had a strong alliance, then you probably had like one of each. Power Play last 2 years ago's game had mosaic robots, which specialized in fast, accurate pixel placement and focused on completing the mosaics efficiently. They didn't score the most pixels, but they just scored the right number of pixels because mosaics were extra points. Why archetypes matter in Decode. Decode is a game built around pattern recognition, scoring efficiency, and field control. No single robot can perfectly cycle fast, complete motifs, and play defense, or shoot from anywhere. So you need to have a specific type of thing that your robot is going to do, because you can't do all of them. Decode archetypes. So one of these archetypes is the fast cycler, which is the backbone of most high-level alliances. This robot focuses on extremely fast intake, reliable classified scoring, high cycle count over the match. So some pros of this, they maximize raw point output. It's consistent and predictable, and if you have a really good driver, you'll have a really good robot. And some cons are it usually ignores motifs, so you don't really get the extra points from the motif, but you do get the points from just like spamming whatever you have in your thing. But they can struggle under heavy defense because for this, you kind of have to move while you're shooting because if you're getting defended, you can't really stay in one place. So it's kind of hard to get that to work and stuff like that. And you need a really, really good intake, or else you won't be able to maximize the amount of points that you get. So another type is a motif or a pattern bot. And the motif bot specializes in placing artifacts specifically to complete patterns. This robot prioritizes precise placement, color/order awareness, and consistency over speed. So some pros are pattern points are guaranteed value. There's a strong RP contribution in qualifiers, so that tiebreak is good. And it's extremely valuable in close matches, so you'll kind of get those bonus points that the other team might not get because they're not focusing on motifs. But some cons, you get a slower cycle time, obviously. You rely on your alliance coordination. So like if you don't know your alliance that well, then you're not going to be able to coordinate with them because they're going to be putting stuff in, you're going to be putting stuff in, and it's just going to get really confusing. And it's also less flexible if the patterns are blocked. If your pattern's blocked, then you can't make a pattern, right? You have to kind of do a whole another three. So it's like kind of interesting there. You can also have a closed shooter, which is a consistency form scoring archetype. And instead of shooting from everywhere, it just scores from known repeatable positions. It trades range for accuracy and it minimizes missed shots. So one thing that's not kind of here, yeah, well, actually it is. But one thing that's kind of important with these is it's a lot easier to code because you'd be shooting from the same place each time. So if you're a rookie team, then it's a lot easier to code this because you'd be just shooting from the same place each time. You would only have to have like one kind of set power and output and stuff like that. So yeah, so instead of shooting, it scores from known repeatable positions, trades range for accuracy, and minimizes missed shots. So yeah, some pros are that it's extremely reliable, it's easier to tune and drive, and it has a stronger auto performance. But some cons are it has limited field coverage, it can be blocked by defense, and it's less flexible than a regular long range shooter. So another type of archetype is a defensive or control bot. And defense in Decode isn't about ramming, it's about control. Defensive bots focus on blocking shooting lanes, disrupting intakes, and controlling artifact flow. So some pros of defense slash control robots are they can shut down top scorers very effectively. They're very valuable in elimination rounds because they're kind of unpredictable, so it's kind of good to have them. And it also it's not that complicated. You just got to make kind of like a tank and just keep driving around and making like wrecking havoc on the other team. But some cons are you can risk a lot of penalties if your driver doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah, so yeah, you need an excellent driver discipline, and it's also in qualification matches. It's really not that helpful because you're not really going to be giving that many points to your team. So yeah, so how alliances will be built? So the strongest decode alliances, in our opinion, will probably look like fast cycler plus motif bot, fast cycler plus close shooter, fast cycler plus a controller defense. And the pattern is basically one robot pushes the complete scoring and the other one amplifies it. Final takeaways. You don't want to think about if your robot can do everything, but you want to think about what role can we be the best at. So you should pick the right archetype, design for it intentionally, and play your role better than anyone. So you're either picking in your alliance or you get picked. As always, a special thank you to our sponsors, to whom without them we would not be here today. Thank you.